If you ever try to build a personal brand, you might be posting content, but why is it nobody cares? And deep down inside, you know you have genuine skills, probably way more skills than other people who are getting much more views than you. And this is because you do not understand the psychology of how to build an attractive personal brand that people flock to. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the darkest, most powerful psychological technique you can use to build a cult-like audience and brainwash your followers to buy your stuff. Now, the secret to building a profitable personal brand is to lead with pain. Now, I've personally created content in many niches from tech sales, NFTs and crypto, and personal branding. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that pain is the strongest emotion to get someone to take an action. And the second strongest is going to be pleasure. Now, most people make the mistake of talking about themselves too much, but the reality is nobody cares. So imagine this. Let's say your ideal viewer is on this island and they're in a world of pain, right? That's why I put a little fire over here. And depending on the person, they may have different pains. If they're a regular everyday person, maybe they're not making enough money. Maybe they don't like their current job. Maybe they want to start a business, but they failed over and over and they're just stuck, but they know they have an entrepreneurial spirit inside, but they just don't know how to get to the other side. And even for businesses, they have pains as well. What if they go out of business because they cannot adopt AI, for example? So what you want to do is you want to understand, okay, what is their problem? And on the other side, we want to see the pleasure, the desired outcome. What do they want in their lives? And for most people, they want to make more money. They want to find love and they want to be healthy. That's why on YouTube, these are going to be the biggest categories when it comes to education, wealth, health, and relationships. So your goal with your content is to first make the person feel like you understand their problems and you also understand where they want to go. But to get to the other side, these people are going to have a problem. There's going to be a large body of water. Are they going to swim across? What if they can't make it? What if they don't know how to swim, right? Then it creates like all these challenges of why they can't get what they want on their own. And this is where you put in your solution. So whatever it is that you're creating content about, you need to make it so that you have a vehicle, some kind of boat that will get them from point A to point B. If they naturally see that you're gonna take them away from pain and closer to pleasure, they will naturally want to watch all of your content because they feel like you understand them. And remember this, if there's no pain, there's no sale, and there's no reason for why anyone should watch. Now, if you want to speed up the process in building your profitable personal brand, and that is finding a clear direction of what you want to be known for, what type of content you should be making, and how to convert your views into actual revenue, I have a free personal brand training that you can sign up for to get you started on how you can actually implement this today so that you can start building a personal brand that actually attracts clients. And if you want the free training, check out the link in the description to sign up right away. So now that we understand how to use pain and pleasure, this next thing I'm about to show you is going to be how you build that cult-like audience. And the best way to do that is to weaponize your story. By far, the most effective technique that I've personally used to sell 7 figures in courses, coaching, and consulting has been to use my own story. As humans, we all love a good story. And why a story is so powerful is because it bypasses the part of the brain that uses logic. When we watch a good movie or we hear a good story, we get these goosebumps, right? We have these feel-good feelings that just makes us feel inspired, makes us want to help, makes us want to take the next step, even if it's illogical. And this is especially powerful when the story is extremely relatable to your ideal viewer. So for me, when I incorporate my story in all of my content, what ends up happening is when somebody books a call with me, they're already pre-sold. They know my entire background. They know where I came from. They know my struggles and they feel like they've had the same problems and that I potentially have a solution. So when I'm selling on the call, it doesn't really feel like I'm selling. It feels more like I'm just getting to know the person and they're just trying to see whether or not pricing makes sense. So they're just trying to see if I'm the same in my videos as I am in real life. And if they feel it's the same, they typically move forward. It's not about who's the best, it's about who you connect with the most. Now, to illustrate this point, let me tell you a story of how I personally got into personal branding, and hopefully it will show you how this works and inspire you to do the same. So many years ago, I used to be a tech sales rep in Silicon Valley making 6 figures, right? Working at Oracle as well as a YC-backed startup. On paper, I was doing really well, living in downtown Soma in San Francisco. But I wasn't happy because I was just selling software that I didn't really care about. And deep down, I knew I had the entrepreneurial spirit and I wanted to build something of my own. So after 1 year and 8 months of working for somebody else, I decided to quit with no source of income, took my life savings, sold all my stuff, and bought a one-way ticket to Thailand to start a new life. Now, I was trying to figure out these internet businesses, and I tried many different ideas, from apps, faceless Instagram accounts, you name it. And after a whole year, all my ideas failed. I pretty much used all of my life savings and I was down to my last $200 living in the spare bedrooms at my parents' house. So I was at a point where I had to decide, I don't have enough money to live. I don't want to ask my parents for money. Either I go back to getting a normal job and all that would have gone to waste, or I give it one more shot. And so I gave it one more shot. And instead of trying all these random business models, I thought, hey, why don't I just take the skill I already have, which is sales, which people would pay me 6 figures for, and just teach it. And so I started creating online courses on how to write and send cold emails, how to do sales calls, and all this stuff. And within my first month of doing this, I made my first $1,000 in profit online. And from there, I snowballed it to a YouTube channel that has 340,000 subscribers, generated 7 figures in revenue organically, and it completely changed my life. And now I'm filming this video for you here in Vietnam. Now, when I tell you this story, I want you to think about, does it make you feel, were you in a similar position before and you feel the same pain? Do you have a similar desired outcome in having freedom in your life, having a higher income, being your own boss? Do you feel like personal branding might be an option for you to achieve the things that you want to achieve? And in this story, even though it sounds like a feel-good story, psychologically, I'm using all the tactics that I'm sharing with you now because I know it absolutely does work to, 1, get attention, and 2, to convert into dollars. So now that we can even feel how powerful stories are, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make content where people feel like, oh my God, this was made specifically for me. So we're going to talk about mirroring their struggles. In an era of AI and copycats, everyone's copying each other's scripts. No one's really original. And sometimes when they copy your script, they don't even believe in what they're saying. So what do you need to do to stand out? And I've learned is to actually solve unique problems by finding the pain points of your ideal viewers and turning it into content. So when you're creating content, and let's say you don't have any clients, the first thing you should do is make content for your younger self, right? The previous version of yourself that had some kind of problem, make content specifically for that person. Because there are probably things that you learned in your life that you wish you knew 5-10 years ago. Start with that. Then once you start getting more clients, you're doing more sales calls, the problems that your clients have and they tell you on the sales call, you write them all down and you turn that into content. And all you're really doing is taking the pain somebody has and you're reflecting it almost like a mirror and putting it into your content. So like I said in the beginning, pain is the strongest emotion to get someone to take an action. So if we reflect the person's pain in the content, they will feel like it is for them. So an example of this is when I first started my YouTube channel. I was posting a video every week, barely getting 30 views, 40 views, 50 views, and that was going on for literally months until finally I figured out some strategies on YouTube and how to make my thumbnails and titles better and all this kind of stuff, and eventually got to 340,000 subscribers. But when I share the story of when I posted my first videos, they were horrible and I was only getting 30 views, chances are you probably created content too and it didn't do that well. And so I'm reflecting my pain as well as your pain into my content to make it so much more relatable. This is much better than saying like, look at me guys, how much money I'm making, right? That's kind of lame. But when you empathize with the person's problems, they really feel that connection. So now that we understand how to mirror a person's problem, this next thing I'm about to show you will get people to watch and follow you without them even thinking. And we're going to get into how you can shepherd the sheep. So whether people want to admit it or not, we all love to follow, because following means we take a mental shortcut. We look at somebody else who seems like they know what they're doing, almost like a leader, and whatever it is they do, we will do it too. This is very similar to how sheep operate. So when a shepherd is guiding the sheep, the trick is you want to make the sheep feel like they're in full control, that they want to go to all the places they're being walked to. And how the shepherd does this is they condition the sheep to go to certain areas that's beneficial for them. So that is going to grasslands for food, going to the river for water, right? This is all beneficial for the sheep. Similar to how when we're using pain and pleasure to create content, we always want to show the desired outcome of what people want in the content so that they feel like this is what they want. You don't have to sell them the idea, you're just guiding them in the direction. Now, the second technique to shepherd the sheep is using a concept called the lead sheep. So when you have a bunch of sheep hanging out, let's say they're all eating grass, right? And you want them to walk, start walking miles down the road. How you get them to do this is you get one sheep to walk in one direction. It doesn't have to be the alpha. There's no alpha. It's just any regular sheep in the group. If you get them to walk straight, all the other sheep will look at that one sheep and they will also walk as well. They will just naturally follow. If you've ever been to a performance, right, and somebody just does their thing, maybe they rap, maybe they sing, whatever, and then they end the performance and nobody claps. There's just always one guy who just has the courage and he starts clapping. Another guy looks at that guy, I'm gonna clap too. And then the next thing you know it, the whole room is applauding. This is human nature. So how we use this in the content is think about who is your lead sheep in this situation. And that is gonna be your clients. If you got your first client, that person took a chance on you. And if you got them the result, they're gonna be a happy customer and you will get a testimonial. When you have that testimonial, other people who find your content are gonna think, okay, is this person legitimate? Can they help me get to where I wanna go? Who have they helped? Then they're gonna look at that lead sheep, the first client. If you have just one client that you got results for, the other will follow. And once you have 5 clients, 10 clients, more and more people will naturally follow without even thinking about it. So I personally create these mini documentary series, these case studies, these client interviews of people I've helped build personal brands from zero and signing their first high ticket clients. And when other people see that, they feel, damn, maybe I can do it too. So now that you understand how you can get people to walk in any direction you want them to, this next thing I'm going to show you is how to handle situations where people give you objections and they don't want to buy and they want to move forward and they have reasons to not want to consume your content. So we're going to show you how to use objections against them being your ideal customers. I'm going to start this with an example. A lot of people who want to build personal brands, they feel like they won't be able to make money because they might have a small personal brand. So the question would be, how can I make money with a small personal brand when all these other guys are way bigger than me? Right? Common objection. If somebody wants to work with me and they have this objection and they believe it to be true and they cannot make money, they will not buy any of the services I provide. So I need them to believe that they can do it. And how do I do that? I take the objection somebody has. In this example, it's I can't make money with a small following. What do I need to do to prove them wrong? And that is find one of my clients who made a lot of money with a small following and show the other person that they can do it too. So when I show a client like Sandy, for example, she didn't know much about the AI automation space, but I told her, if you put your mind to it, you can learn how to do this and sign clients. And within the first month of deciding to get into AI, she signed a B2B client that paid her $36,000 for the year for AI automations. She was doing such a good job for the first couple of months, they bumped it up to $60,000 per year for these AI automations. And not only that, but how many followers does she have on YouTube? 1,100 YouTube subscribers at the time of this recording. So when I tell this real story with a real person, with an interview and a client testimonial, what is it going to do for other people who are skeptical or have objections? They're going to feel like, damn, if this person can do it and they did it while working a full-time job and they have 3 kids, I can do it too, right? So the objections that people have, that's a blessing. When people give you an objection, you shouldn't be angry about it. You shouldn't get frustrated. You should be thinking, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to create a piece of content that handles this objection for this person, but also thousands of other people who felt the same thing can also watch this video and they're more likely to buy your stuff. Objections are going to be your inspiration for the best content ideas. So now that I've showed you these powerful psychological techniques in order to build your personal brand, I have a question for you. If you were to think about it, do you think these techniques are actually manipulative? Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, if your personal brand is a true reflection of who you are, and whatever it is that you're promising to your clients, you actually deliver on these promises, you're leaving them better off than they started. In fact, it's probably better that they buy from you than other people that don't know what they're talking about. And yes, I package this video as dark psychology on personal branding, but in reality, this is just how people think and make decisions. Just like any tool, it's all about how you use it. So if you'd use it for good and you're helping people make the right decisions in their life and improving it, then there's really nothing dark about these techniques. Now, if you enjoyed this video, but you actually want a little help when it comes to building your personal brand, figuring out your content strategy, and creating the right content to attract high-paying buyers, I want to let you know that I work with clients one-on-one to build their profitable personal brands. So if you want me to build you a custom growth plan for you to get started with your personal brand, I encourage you to check the link in the description and book a call with me and my team, and we're going to give you a free consultation on exactly what you need to be doing to build this personal brand.